Charles Leclerc just looked into a camera and admitted he doesn't trust his own car anymore.
Yeah.
His teammate was standing 20 feet away, celebrating.
Lewis taking the pole today.
That happened Friday at Silverstone, hours before Hamilton's home sprint. Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari's 7-time world champion, just took sprint pole at his home race, a race Ferrari publicly said they'd lose.
Hey, you happy one. Great job. Great job.
He beat Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli, F1 2026's championship leader, by 0.011 seconds, 11 thousandths of a second. But that's not actually the story. The story is what Charles Leclerc said after he crossed the line in fourth. Not angry, not defensive, just honest, in a way drivers rarely are on camera. He said he doesn't have the same feeling in this car that he had last year. That when Hamilton finds the limit, he doesn't. That, in his own words, he's got to work on everything. So here's the question this video answers. Is this a one-weekend wobble or the first real crack in Ferrari's championship season? The confession nobody expected. Let's start with what Leclerc actually said, because the wording matters.
Lewis taking the pole today, but in general we were expecting just a much bigger gap to the cars in front.
He said Hamilton is more often at 100% of the potential of the car, and that he isn't. Not a technical complaint, not a setup complaint, a confidence problem. Compare that to Hamilton after the same session, beaming, practically climbing the fence at pit exit to wave at fans. His words,
I am so happy, so happy.
This is an amazing surprise. I'm ecstatic. Same garage, same car philosophy, two completely different emotional states, 20 minutes apart. The session Ferrari wasn't supposed to win. Now the part that makes Leclerc's admission sting even more. Ferrari wasn't supposed to be here at all. Silverstone is a power track, high-speed corners, long straights, exactly where Ferrari's engine was expected to get exposed again after a rough Austria. Hamilton didn't just survive that test, he won it. FP1, fastest, by 0.2. SQ1, fastest. SQ2, fastest, by 0.1. SQ3, fastest by 0.011 seconds over the championship leader. 4 sessions, 4 times on top, on a track his own team thought would punish them. But here is what nobody is saying, yet Leclerc was right there with him for 3 of those 4 sessions, within 0.2 in SQ1 and SQ2. It was only in the final highest pressure lap, the one that decides pole, that the gap opened up. 0.3 gone, in the one moment it mattered most. If you want to know whether that gap becomes a pattern or a one-off, subscribe. I'm covering Leclerc's full season qualifying data tomorrow. That's not a small detail. That's the difference between a driver who's fast and a driver who's fast when it counts. And it wasn't just Ferrari's story on Friday. George Russell, Mercedes' other title contender, had arguably a worse day than Leclerc. He called himself very much off the pace to Lewis and Kimi on his own home weekend, right after winning in Austria the week before. Sky Sports pundit Martin Brundle, former F1 driver turned commentator, put it simply, that was a classic Lewis Hamilton Silverstone lap. But that was just the start. The gap that's splitting Ferrari's garage. Here's why this matters more than a normal quali gap. Leclerc isn't struggling for pace everywhere. He's struggling specifically when the car needs to be trusted completely one lap, no margin, full commitment into corners like cops and maggots, 2 of Silverstone's fastest, most confidence-demanding turns. That's not a car problem you fix with a wing angle. That's a feel problem, and feel problems compound. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur, Ferrari's team principal, has spent this season insisting the car works for both drivers. Friday made that harder to say with a straight face. 3 ways Sunday could go. So what happens in the actual Grand Prix? Scenario 1. Hamilton converts. He backs up the pole with a sprint and race win. Ferrari suddenly looks like a genuine third force, and Leclerc's comments age into a genuine crisis story. Scenario 2. It was a one-lap fluke. Mercedes' race pace reasserts itself Sunday. Hamilton fades to a podium finish, and this becomes a forgotten Friday headline by Monday. Scenario 3, the one nobody's talking about. Leclerc rights the ship in the sprint itself, outraces Hamilton on Saturday, and this entire narrative flips before Sunday even starts. Given how tight SQ1 and SQ2 were, Scenario 3 isn't a stretch. Leclerc wasn't slow all weekend, he was slow for one lap. What fans are really saying online, the reaction split almost exactly down the middle. One side is calling this the start of a full Ferrari intra-team battle, Hamilton's home form against Leclerc's confidence crisis, playing out in real time. The other side is warning against overreacting to 3/10 on a Friday, pointing out Leclerc was practically identical to Hamilton for 2 of the 3 sessions. Here's my honest read, the pace gap alone isn't the story. Drivers lose 3/10 on bad laps constantly. What's different here is that Leclerc named the problem himself, unprompted, on camera, and that kind of self-diagnosis usually means he already knows Sunday is a must-fix, not just a bad Friday. If this gave you a new read on what's actually happening inside Ferrari, you'll want to be here tomorrow. I'm breaking down Leclerc's full qualifying gap to Hamilton across every race this season, lap by lap.